What is up, guys? It's your boy, Stay Strapped Cactus, and today we're talking sidearms. Specifically, I wanted to highlight one of the better PvE sidearms within the game that is also, frankly, one of the better PvE primaries, period, that is getting little to no attention right now. Certainly not enough attention as to what it deserves, and that's gonna be actually the Traveler's Chosen exotic sidearm. Now, you may be thinking, why the heck is this guy talking about sidearms, bro? Nobody uses sidearms, and you're kinda right, which is exactly why I'm making this video. Sidearms are performing actually pretty well right now within the PvE meta. Now, why is that? Well, several stars, if you will, have aligned to actually boost sidearms' power kind of again and again and again to the point we have them at right now. So, one of the first things to happen, and the main thing to happen, is recently we had that mid-season update for Season of Defiance, where a bunch of primary weapon types had their PvE damage significantly increased in order to compete with the, at the time, meta PvE weapons of SMGs and bows. So everyone was looking at auto rifles getting the biggest increase, but also pulse rifles and hand cannons, and to be honest, sidearms still got that 20% damage increase, but everyone was distracted again by the other gun types. So, sidearms have actually had times where they have been the PvE weapon of choice. I'm sure some Destiny veterans watching remember the Last Hope with Outlaw Multi-Kill Club. That thing was coveted and it was shredding in PvE. So, the fact that sidearms just got a 20% raw damage boost is pretty significant. Not to mention, that 20% damage increase is going to stack with the 40% additional damage that exotic primaries do to red bar enemies. And honestly, I've been using exotic primaries that belong to these buffed weapon types like auto rifles, pulse rifles, etc. in endgame content like Grandmasters more and more, and holy crap, even in that, they will absolutely shred red bars. And so the Traveler's Chosen is benefiting from both of those damage increases, but additionally, it actually somewhat recently also got an exotic catalyst, which makes it so much better. So the intrinsic trait is Gathering Light. Final blows with this weapon grant stacks of Gathering Light, and you can consume those stacks, which gives you ability energy back. It also has Gift of the Traveler, which is going to improve its reload handling and target acquisition as you have more stacks, but then the catalyst, that again was somewhat recently added, adds 2 additional perks to this weapon. The first one is Osmosis. So if you throw your grenade, this weapon becomes whatever your subclass element is. And the second one is Surplus. So if you have charged abilities, it's going to reload faster, have better handling, stability, etc. And especially Osmosis is actually pretty darn good with this weapon. We'll talk about that in a second. But in addition to that, guys, another benefit, specifically impacting, I would say, sidearms a lot more than many other weapons, is the fact that full auto is now a setting within your menu. You can just go and flip full auto on. Like previously, you would actually have to get full auto as a perk on sidearms if you wanted that functionality. But now you can just hold down the trigger and the Traveler's Chosen is going to fire at its max fire rate and give you that mathematically perfect time to kill every single time. And I view that as a big increase. So again, the stars have aligned for sidearms. They're performing very well right now. Specifically, the Traveler's Chosen, I think, is an example of a sidearm that kind of stands out because holy crap, this thing gives you an insane amount of ability energy. As you can see right here, with the full 10 stacks of Gathering Light, you just outright get your entire grenade back. You know, at times 5, you get half your grenade back. So essentially each stack is kind of like a kill with Demolitionist, with the obvious benefit being that you get to consume them when you want, right? You can get kills if your grenade is already out there doing its thing. You don't need that extra grenade energy. You're waiting for more powerful enemies to spawn. You don't have to consume those stacks until you actually need the grenade in that moment, and that is extremely powerful. But again, with Osmosis, it actually functions really well in the builds you are gonna want to use it for, which is ability focused builds. In fact, the build that you're seeing in the background gameplay is going to be my Void Warlock Controverse Hold Grenadier build. So the Controverse Hold will let you get benefits for charging your Void grenades and give you grenade energy back when you throw them. So I'm pairing that with obviously Chaos Accelerant, which is getting a huge buff next season, getting an extra fragment slot, and then Feed the Void, and then my fragments are just going to be Echo of Instability, Echo of Expulsion, and Echo of Undermining. In this kind of build, the Traveler's Chosen absolutely shines. First of all, because I'm throwing so many grenades, I'm triggering Osmosis all the time, which means the Traveler's Chosen is actually void. It's shooting out void damage, which means, yes, it gets volatile rounds all the time, constantly, as I'm shooting enemies. Not to mention, it actually triggers my harmonic armor mods. Harmonic Siphon in the helmet will trigger because you're doing void damage with your kinetic weapon. And of course, the insane amount of ability energy at your fingertips with this weapon is just chef's kiss, exactly what you need in this build. Again, having that extra grenade essentially stored away at your disposal and then being able to hold, reload, consume these stacks and get that grenade exactly when you need it is so good, because a lot of times when you're using a build like this, right, you need to be chaining certain things. You need to be getting grenade hits in order to get grenade energy back to get your next grenade, and you need to be getting kills with your grenade in order to trigger Devour and get your health back and all that stuff. But when things break down, when things go wrong with a build like this, they go so wrong, right? You miss a grenade, or the group of enemies you're just about to kill and you're relying on killing and getting hits and starting the chain, your ally hits them with a rocket launcher before your grenade can get there. Normally, you'd be screwed. You're back to just recharging your grenade fully from 0% and your build is just not functioning in those moments. But with the Traveler's Chosen, you go, oh, I'm just gonna consume the stacks that I extremely easily built up because this thing hits like a truck now after the buff, full auto, and has volatile rounds, and then you get your full grenade back and you can start the chain again. So, at the end of the day, here are the important takeaways. Number one, Sidearms right now are performing pretty darn well in PvE, and if you haven't tried them out, I would recommend doing so. On top of that, specifically, exotic Sidearms, due to that stacking damage effect, are performing really, really well in PvE. However, out of all the exotic sidearms, I think the Traveler's Chosen is the easiest one to kind of incorporate into a build. We have so many builds that would just love to instantly get their abilities back. Again, the Traveler's Chosen fits in quite well. Especially thanks to its catalyst giving it osmosis, it really benefits from elemental weapon effects. I mean, you've seen from the background gameplay, I honestly have volatile rounds up more than I don't, right? And so now going forward, you gotta check that seasonal artifact. Volatile rounds right now are really easy to get, but next season it might be unraveling rounds, or it might be a perk that adds Volt Shot to arc weapons, but no matter what it is, the Traveler's Chosen can benefit from it because it can be any element in the game. You just gotta throw a grenade. So guys, that is it for the video. Hope you enjoyed and found this informative. If you did, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. If you want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That is linked in the description down below. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.